Hey, if you've got closers or salespeople, you've got someone there that isn't closing deals, or you have someone that consistently runs the same types of objections over and over again, or even they just aren't getting a problem out with certain types of prospects, then I think you'll enjoy this training. It's a live training across multiple different industries where I share principles, concepts, tools that are really reliably getting results for clients. So enjoy, reach out if you want to get some help, of course, for you and your team. They'll actually enjoy the training as well.
Good. How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So yeah, I've actually been getting feedback from some of the other coaches as well. And I
Sure.
guess my question is, as far as objection handling, should I continue like do what I'm doing or slowly implement like the more, I guess, reframes and I guess kind of more of a conversational kind of style of objection handling for at least for what I do.
Okay, I need a bit of context there, right? Just give me context on what do you sell?
I canvas for Greenpeace. I'm on the busy, streets where people, could be busy on the way to work or whatever. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
hey, get them to stop and then get them to donate.
Okay, cool. So you're stopping people and getting them to donate. Yeah. Stopping and getting them to donate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What had you ask about objections?
I guess because even yesterday I ran into somebody where they said they needed research. Now I know that it's the nature that I'm not gonna have everyone donate, but I know there's better ways to, I guess, handle somebody who I feel, should be a donor.
Yeah.
We're having a good conversation. I guess you can call them check-in questions. Like you'd agree that this is something like, terrible going on. Yeah, I hate corporations. I hate this. You want to do something about that? Yeah. And then I guess I do my presentation, as you could say, and get all the way to the end. Like, this is why we need you to join now. Well, yeah.
I'll
And
pause
that's
you.
where
I'll
the,
pause you there. Okay, so this is what I would do is start tracking the objections you're getting is one thing, right? Really important actually is start to track them. So I'm going to write this one down. Need to research, right? Why do you think people give that objection?
I think it's either like, just trying to get rid of me or they generally want to like, because they've been burned before or there's some type of uncertainty to not donate like right on the spot.
Uncertainty is the one that is like the stem of every objection, right? We need to do research. What that tells me more often than not, it's something to do with trust, right? And you want to bring it back to, I'm going to let somebody else in, to what you can do in your sales process better. So, yes, you can go ahead and focus on objection handling and learning things. Don't get me wrong. What I would be doing more is taking a note of the objections you're getting and looking at how you can pre-handle that more with what you're getting them to think about before or when you're pitching. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what people might call pre-objection handling or the rest, right? That's what I would be working on a lot more. Have you had people donate?
Yes. Like
Yeah.
as far as overall or
Yeah, overall, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. I've been doing this for like a year. Yeah, it's just I guess now I want to be as efficient and, the best.
Yes, yeah. I know. One of the guys that I work with did fundraising as well. Now he runs a team. And one of the things I got him to do, which is really useful across nearly everything that you sell, by the way, is to go ahead and call, if you've got the contacts of the people that donated, right? Give them a
Mhm.
call and ask them, when did they decide to donate? What was it that caused them to decide to donate? And take a look at that language, note it down. Then you can get AI just to track it.
Yeah, as far as I guess how it kind of works is I guess I just after I get them to sign up, they get like I guess onboarded, I guess you could say, but I'm hands off from there. They have like a 1-800 number to reach out, but sometimes people see me and I'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Do
Update
you
them,
do you
but
have their number though anywhere at all or anything tracked?
no, as far as like data goes, we just do on a thing on like stops, presentations, and then donors.
I
That
explain why I
that's it.
explain why this is important, right? Because yeah, okay, you can go ahead and get better at objections, which is fine, but the whole point is you want your process to pre-handle the objections, right?
No.
So you don't get as many. Where am I going with this is that when we did this exercise, and this might be the same for you, you're canvassing for Greenpeace. This is going to sound like a really ignorant question because I might know. What are they donating towards with Greenpeace?
Stopping corporations, like corporate greed. Like, yeah, pretty much.
Stopping corporate greed in what way?
Like how prices are going up in like grocery stores, the animals in the sea and the land are in danger, deforestation, all the garbage in the international
So it's
waters.
environment and prices going up.
It's basically we're stopping, I guess you could say, just because at the end of the day, we're getting the short end of the stick, but in the overall, Greenpeace's mission is taking
Yeah.
direct nonviolent action.
Say that again, the last bit. I didn't catch that.
Direct nonviolent action. So it's like a lot
Yeah.
of, I guess you could say, like we have a lot of competition as far as not just in general,
Yeah.
but nature
I'll
orgs
give
where I'm
you
at.
so I know I've not answered your question on how to work on objections because for me it's more about okay, how can we take them through the right gates of thinking so you don't get as many objections earlier, right?
Mm,
So I'll just tell you this because it might help you in how to adapt this. So the guy I worked with, he works on fundraising for kids in Africa, right?
okay.
When he went away and contacted his people that funded, right? What we found out of like 8 out of 11 people, they funded because they could relate to the trouble, the plight of the child. So what we
Yep.
did was we built in the sales quote unquote discovery part when he's stopping people, how to ask questions that get them to relate to these kids. Now, that might not be exactly how you can apply it for what you're doing, but do you see where I'm going with this? Is if you can understand
Yes.
how they're making decisions, what caused them to decide, you can build your whole sales discovery to map to that. That's a very powerful way
Yeah.
of doing it.
Yeah, that's when I so far just kept it again, just based off of like what the other coaches saying as well, just connection, problem. But I'll give an example. So after I get them to stop or whatever, hey,
Yeah.
heard about us, blah blah blah, a little bit of like kind of what I told you, direct nonviolent action. And but so when it comes to these corporations, I know, or when it comes to the environment, I know some people are more, passionate about like climate change or deforestation, like. What has
Yeah.
your attention when it comes to like the nature side of things? And then they'll be like, whoa, climate change or this or oh,
Mhm.
that. And then they'll tell me, and I'll be like, how long have you been going through this? I've been seeing this for XYZ years. I'm like, sure, you've been seeing this stuff for a while. It might sound like a cheesy question, but do you like the way like these
You do the do you
corporations
like
are
question. Okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's what gets them to be like, no. And then I'll be like, is that something you want to help with? Yeah. And then that's when I just jump in to
Okay.
my, I guess, solution.
And then you present, you pitch. Okay, how often do you get this need to research?
Specifically, pretty often, yeah, it's like I think, yeah, the most are just I know they're just stalls at the end of the day, but I would put it up there, like my top three for sure.
Okay, yeah, that means there might be something in the presentation. Also, and again, this is a hypothesis, so I think your flow there I quite like from what the way you describe it. We'd have to work on it like more together. But what I would do is how long you ask them, do you like blah blah blah? They said no, I don't, right? And then from there, do you say you go into the pitch?
Yeah, so it's like as
Yeah.
soon as I get, because once I say like, well, it could be better if it's not like, all the way there, then I'll kind of, I guess probe a little more to, see what's really underneath. But, most
Yeah.
people are like, no, I don't like this. You want to do something about it? Yeah, what are you guys doing now? And that's what kind of gives
Then
me
you ask, do you
permission
want to
to,
do something about this? And they all say yes.
not all of them, but yeah, the ones that do.
The ones that do. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I would probably double down on that. I might include a question of, okay, what's just caused you not to before? Because then that's when you can start to do some of the objection pre-handling.
Okay. So would it be, because I will say, like, after I get the objection, I'll kind of sometimes I'll dive right back into my solution awareness, I guess you can call it. Is that bad if like for the people that are like getting
Yeah.
pushback and I'm like, well, were you out there looking for ways to be able to help? 'Cause I'm not here to twist your arm, but were you looking for something like this, or is how do you what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people look to donate. I could be wrong. I'm just thinking about human nature, right? How many people
Yeah.
actually look? So I would look at, again, everything is a hypothesis, even though it's
Yes.
everything every coach says is a bit of a hypothesis. It's all about how it lands in the data, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What I would be tempted to do is after you say, do you want to change this? They say yes. I would then ask, because they said how long this has been on their mind. They might say years or something, right? Then at
Yeah.
that point, ask, what's just caused you to not do something before? Would you want to do something about this? Yes. Okay, I've got to ask though, what's caused you maybe not to do something about this before? Or what's caused you not to do something about this before? Then from there, they'll start to they if you've got an open connection with them, they should start to tell you,
Okay.
I didn't really know who to trust. Okay. Okay. Would you want to do something? Yeah, I do. Now I don't now, can I ask you something and you can be totally real? Yeah, sure. What's really caused you? If you said this has been on your mind at least somewhat over the past 2 years, what's just really caused you not to before? Being just totally real. Oh, I didn't really know who to trust. Okay, how would you know who to trust then? What would I guess I might start to go down that route so that I know, okay, what to present to them afterwards. Does that make sense? Then you can start to get ahead of it.
Yeah, yeah. So I should go for a pre, yeah, because I do get a lot of that garbage at the end anyway. So okay, yeah. So
Like,
just
do you want to do
pre-handle.
something about this? They might just tell you, yeah, I would, right? But they might just be
Mm,
telling you what you want to hear, but they still have this other underlying factor in them. They must do because they're giving you an objection, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's the one
And I
that's the one change I would make.
Okay, okay. And I guess because I also just been, but well, before our call too, I've been like
Yeah.
just bringing up other, because again, there's a lot of times where people be like, well, there's so many organizations out there, and I was getting that. So I just started just bringing up like, hey, there's Nature Conservancy, there's World Wildlife Fund, there's this and that. What makes us unique? And then I'll use like an analogy, but like how like
I wouldn't talk about you actually, right? This is a good point as well. Sorry to interject and because of time, right? Whatever their excuses are, by the way, this I worked on this with the fundraiser as well. Is like they give you whatever excuse you can give. For his case was, I totally understand those things. But can I ask you something? If you're being totally honest to yourself, how does that really compare to what these kids are going through? I just leave it at that and just and start to work with that because whatever excuses they're giving, which is like, oh, I don't know who to give it to and all the rest of it, whatever they give it, I understand. I understand what you just said. Can I ask you something? Yeah, sure. And this might be direct, but I say this because I actually really care. Is all of that, how does that really compare to the planet or something like that? Right. So they just get it. It's like, oh, yeah. Like, at that point, whatever they're saying, it doesn't mean anything when you compare it to
yeah,
the health of the planet, right? Or you need a question like
yeah.
that. So whatever, that's like a very simple way to deal with their objections. It's a great way to do it, by the way, because it doesn't matter what they say. You always just have your strategy that you
Mhm.
just fall back on. Does that help?
Yeah,
You'd have to workshop that and think
absolutely.
about that through and
Yeah,
do it in a way where it doesn't piss them off, but they actually get the point. That's
yeah.
the way to get it to work.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm all ears, and that's why I'm in this
I
program. And
wouldn't even
thank you
say I
so much.
understand. I would be like, I hear exactly everything you're saying. Can I ask you something? Really, though, I have to ask this because I care. I do this because I care of what we're doing. Is all of that, how does that really compare to the health of the planet? You, your family, your kids, and all the rest of it. Then they'll be like, oh yeah, shit. Oh yeah, shit. Right, or something like that.
Yeah,
Then you go from there. You can go deeper into that in some way, consequence it. You can then consequence it and comparative question it once the point lands. Yeah, because at the end
mhm,
of the day, if all of us focus on those things, what will keep happening to the planet?
yeah,
So really, what's more important in your mind, right? And this is your choice, not mine. Is it more important? All of the factors that are always going to get in the way of donating or whatever it might, all of the things that we could have come up in our mind, or what needs to be done for the planet.
okay,
As soon as they decide on that, and then from there, then it's basically they've decided. Something does that make sense? You get a point to land, you find their things, you get a point to land, consequence question it, comparative question it. Once they decide off, then your life should be much simpler.
yeah,
By the way, when I go through it that way, it seems fantastic and great. It doesn't always land perfectly, but that is the way that I found it to be very effective to handle objections.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And from the pre-handling to the display. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
have a watch of this back if you need, or whatever, and then play around with it. We can role play it next time still if you need.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. How you pronounce your name?
Yeah, I got an easy one, right? It's Chirag. Yeah, how you see it is how you
Chirag.
say it. Chirag. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you so
Cool.
much.
Dumar, let me know how you get along and come next week if you want to role play it. All right. I'm going to go to Dushan. Well, I think I pronounced correctly this time.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah, nice to.
Yes, yes, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Go
So
for it.
my main issue is I don't know if you remember like the offer model is the marketing's pretty vague, and I
Yeah,
know you gave me like good advice. So like even record a video, but I'm not in like the sales leadership role or something like that where I can just kind of suggest that
yeah,
they just kind of wanna they have two, three resources and that's it. But my main
yeah,
issue is like dealing with because it's a business opportunity helping people launch a SMMA. So
yeah.
my main issue is like dealing with business owners who
Mhm.
just want to diversify. So I don't do like the do you like. I just go into like so what shifted for you recently that made you look at like potentially starting like an online business rather than
Yeah.
just sticking with the fundraising, for example. And they just ask them like two to three times and they just kind of stick with the yeah, I just want to diversify. I want to see what you guys offer. So that's kind of like my biggest constraint so far.
Okay, so okay. let's look at that. So, at which point do they say, what question do you ask that has them say, I just want to diversify?
Though after like what shifted for you recently that made you look at like potentially starting, like another business or an online business?
Okay, so what shifted for you recently? And they say language like, I just want to diversify.
Yeah, just my business is doing pretty good.
When do you ask this question, by the way, in the connecting
Yeah, so
stage, or where do you
yeah,
ask?
just to help you understand, like my process, like first question is like when you saw the ad, what stood out to you?
Yeah.
Cool. And
What do they say? What do they normally say there?
because it's like a faith offer, they say, yeah, specific like the kingdom part stood out to me. The influencer was talking about, so that resonated with me. My next question
Okay, so
is,
it's like it's Christian based, kingdom.
yeah,
Yeah.
kingdom
Okay, yeah.
marketing agency. Yeah, that's the offer. And then my second question is,
So they resonate with the values, right? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And my second question is like, okay, so for you, like person, like what's the goal with this new business? And then I try to get an outcome. And then once I get like an outcome, I go into like, so for you, like what then shifted recently that made you look at, sorry, I do like the situation then, like what do you do for work, da da da.
Okay, if you're running a sales team and you want them at a high level of consistency, then you probably have some questions, a new perspective that might be helpful. If it is, come along to the workshop on Wednesdays that are on. You'll see the link below.
And I either try to do like a do you like it, but that doesn't line with them that much. I test it out. And then I do like the what shifted for you recently.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I think will help you, just I'm really glad you went through that and appreciate you went through it really quickly, which is good, is it really helps to bring in time frame, I think, to what's shifted. So when you find out their outcome, you can ask a question like, okay, what and how long have you wanted that for? Right. And because then from there, rather than I personally never found a very reliable answer to what shifted for you recently. Right. All right, Adam, we'll see you next time, buddy. Yeah, if anyone needs to go early, let me know and you can go next, right? I'll try and get to you all if I can. So what I would like to do is, okay, how long have you wanted that? And then from there, let's say they wanted it for 6 months, 2 years or whatever, right? And then you can go, okay, and so what has us speaking today? Or a question like that.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just kind of confused. Like when they, for example,
First of all, yeah, actually, I apologize. You go into it, but I want to know what answer do you want them to say?
I want to get like a negative. I'm stuck with my business. I'm stuck in my job. I'm not making enough money. I'm not set. I want a negative answer. They just give me like, yeah, like a positive. Want to diversify. I try
Yeah.
also do like a money gap. Okay, so like how much money would you like to make? And sometimes I also get like, yeah, like I'm not comfortable telling you how much I'm making right now. So that's kind of like an issue too. But that's we can do like a separate session on that next week.
Okay, yeah, right. So you want them to tell you the negative about their situation. Basically, you want to find the problem.
Problem, yeah, problem, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's different routes you can take, right? It's just finding the one that you relate to and resonate with. So you could either go outcome, how long have you wanting it? You could even just go to why do you feel you're not there?
So that was my question. Like for example, like for the outcome,
Yeah.
is a good outcome question answer? Yeah, I just want to help more people because I want to serve more the Lord. I don't care about that much about the money. I want to just help others more. Is that a good outcome question or it's
The word just is a problem one, right? What I mean is a problem one for in the sales conversation. So you want to pick up on the word just. Is it that you just want that, or what is it that you actually? What is I would pick up on that because I want to stop that pattern of just. Because when people say, "Oh, I just want that," they're not really engaged or involved. That I really want that thing. They're trying to say, "Oh, it's kind of all right whether I get it or not." Right? But people don't turn up to conversations with someone on something like, "Oh, I kind of want it or I don't want it." You see? So if that's the first thing I would do, I'd pick up on that language. Hey, is it that you just want, you need to do this smiling, right? Is it that you really just want that? Or what is it that you want? And if, by the way, if I can't help, no issue. I start to pull myself out a lot, right? Is what I do. It helps. And then they'll start to, okay, I want this. Okay, so what do you feel with, do you find out what they're doing now?
yeah, like after like the goal, I do like, okay, so what is it that you do for work right now? And then I
Yeah.
go into situation.
Okay, then from there, the thing is, once you find this data, so you find out their outcome, what they're doing now, right? Then you can find the problem because once you find what they're doing now, so what is it about what you're doing now that's not getting you outcome? See how that there has to be the problem comes out because I love constructing questions this way, by the way, which is constructing the question based on the data that they give you because then they have to answer you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's almost like you just point to, you said this and this. So let me ask a question based on A and B. So you said you're in construction now. You want to help. You care really deeply about helping people. what is it about what you're doing now that isn't allowing you to do that, do you feel though? I might know, but like, what is it? Because oh yeah, I'm just in construction each day. Well, I don't really know because I'm not in construction. Explain it to me. I want them to tell me the experience.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah,
Something like that is what I would do just to make your life easier.
yeah, 100%. Thank you so much.
Now, that question, what shifted, I also found quite similar myself, that it often just they didn't really answer the question truthfully, and they just tried to sidestep it.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much.
No, cool. You're welcome. Let's go to, okay, no one said anything in the chat, so I'll just go to you, Samantha, because you're next.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, just clearing my throat there. Yeah, I'd
That's all
love
good. Go for
to
it.
I'd love to practice some money objection handling.
Okay, sure. Yeah. And what do you sell? You can role
I'm
play with
actually
me.
not formally selling anything right now, but I was thinking about just doing the affiliate program actually for Matt Ryder's thing and just trying to snipe like cold snipe salespeople from like insurance
Okay, cool.
or real estate agents
Just
with
letting one other
benefits or
person
something
in.
like this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go to, does anybody have a shorter question? And I might come back to you, and I will come back to you actually, Sam, right? Only because you're not. Jacob, go for it.
I had a quick question.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's been super helpful by the way too. But
I appreciate it.
I'm doing timeshares and
Yeah.
I've been tracking my objections and I get mainly like urgency objections, like not like I love it, but just not today. And I feel like what I'm seeing is in my consequence, I don't really get the answer that I want, which is like I want them to feel the impact of like not being able to spend quality time with their family or whatever their problem is that I
Yeah.
find out. And I honestly I feel like it's almost like they get their guard up when I ask that question.
What
But
is
I
the,
would
how do
just
you word it? But let's look at, I'm glad you explained that. How do you
yeah.
word the consequence question typically?
So I'll usually it's like, well, in light of what you shared, like how would you feel if you weren't able to spend that quality time with your family?
Okay. And what do they normally say?
Oh, like it'd be okay. I mean, I'd make it work, or something like that.
Yeah.
I won't. It's not the end of the world, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not pointing on the right thing.
Yeah.
So consequence questions, if they're not landing, which is what you want to realize is they can be, you want them to point on the right aspect.
What do you mean?
So I'll explain what I mean. So I'll try and explain an example first, because I could ramble on this. I don't want to ramble, right? Is my favorite type of consequence question, and I might have said this last time, is what are the chances you can either achieve this thing or get rid of this pain or go be this identity or stop being this bad identity and then I put back in whatever their main stumbling block has been.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right. So if in my timeshare discovery, I would want to find out what's caused them not to get a property like this before.
Yeah.
And then from there, let's say it's the money, it's the money, I could probably spend it on something else, right? So my construction of the question would be something like, and can I ask you something? I've got my genuine concern for you here would be something like, what are the chances you can, as you said, be the dad and enjoy that time with the family all together in the same place in the way that you want, consistent and everything that you said, if the idea of money stays in the way? Something like that is what I would ask.
Yeah,
The way I worded it there needs to be better because it needs to be very contextual. But that's how I would, something like that is what I would work on. Two things here to work on, right, Jacob, is if they're not deciding based on urgency, there's some really good research on decision making, which found that decisions are made either through consequences or identity. And so what I'd be looking at is how I could apply that for timeshare. I'd imagine it's a typical thing that people deal with in your industry because it's just like, it's your sales process, but finding out what they really want and then getting to why they haven't got to it before, there's got to be some overcoming of that obstacle, I would think, to get them to feel like that's why I've got to move forward on something like this. That, or something like, hey, is this situation going to change where you have that consistency of time with your family together where everybody can enjoy in the same place, if they said that, right? If the idea of money stays in the way. A question like that, something like that, some kind of wording like that, I'd have to like really workshop it and put myself in the prospect shoes a lot. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, what are the chances, if it's not too personal with you, like what are the chances that we're gonna make that time for our family if we don't XYZ or
if it's normally going to be money, that's the reason why they haven't bought it before, right?
And it's usually time and money. That's like the main things.
In what way is it time?
They don't find the time for themselves to go on vacation.
Okay.
So if they don't vacation, then
that is an interesting one because that's to me could be quote unquote a bit of a legitimate objection, saying,
Yeah.
in the sense that, am I really going to buy a timeshare if I'm never going to go? Right?
Yeah, which is why I usually ask him earlier, like, do you like kind of like do you like how often you travel now, or
Yeah.
something like that? And then usually I'm like targeting something that they do want.
With
So
time,
there's
I would be taking it down priority, because with time, it's never a question of time. It's about priorities. Do you understand that? Or
I see they always have the time, but is that their priority?
yeah, yeah. I
Or
always think of like Richard Branson, who owns like 1,000 businesses, right? Incredible life of freedom, who has the same amount of time as you. And so
yeah,
it's a question of he's prioritizing things differently to you and I as to why he's able to have that.
true.
That's again, if that story resonates, you could input little things like that in, right?
Yeah,
You know, the guy owns an island and owns 1,000 businesses. I don't know if I don't know about, and I don't know about you. I don't own 1,000 businesses, and I also don't own an island, right?
yeah,
So it's not really about time, is it? Because he has the same. How much time does he have in the day? Same as you and me.
right. Same as yeah.
That's little things like that you can put in, but I haven't really gone into precise detail. Is I'd want to find these things as to why they haven't moved forward,
Mm.
and then allow them to realize basically, are they ever going to be able to achieve this thing that they want if those things still stay in play? The answer is no. And then who else does that affect? And then they'd have to have some type of commitment question in which you're removed. Or I love the question, okay, so what needs to change? And then it would be like, what are the chances? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's never going to happen. So what needs to change? Okay, well, you don't have to.
That's all you. I've just been asking like time for a change possibly at the end.
Yeah.
If it lands, if the consequence does land. Why do you do that so they tell you their reasons
Well, the main
why
thing
they
in a
should?
consequence, the main point for me in a consequence question is to go through the thing that stops them from buying, and allow them to see that they're not going to get what they want because of that thing in their brain.
I see.
Because then by going directly through that, they'll realize, oh yeah, I can't. Some of them will get their ego up, which is one trick you can use there is, oh yeah, it'll happen. No, I always go, I apologize. What I meant more is like, what are the chances anybody could have that consistent time with their family if that's what they said, right?
I see.
If
So you detach
if the
a little
money
bit.
was yeah, if the money was in the way, they'd be like, oh yeah. So what needs to change? And then you start to pull yourself out. Well, you don't have to. Yeah, because who does this affect? Because
Mm,
you've been how long do you say you've been wanting this for?
long time.
So how much longer do you want that to continue? Or a
Yeah.
question like that is what I would ask. They'd be like, oh, not anymore, blah, blah, blah. And they can go from there.
Sweet. I'll implement that. That was really helpful.
But cool. No, you're welcome. All right, let's go to, I think we lost. Sam, I will come back to you. Apologies. We're going to go to Mark first and we'll go through it because it might be quicker. Go for it, Mark Craft, if you're there.
So I'm gonna break like the fourth wall here, and maybe like other people can like take from it as well.
Sure.
How do you break a slump?
How do you break a slump? Okay. Give me a bit of context, a bit more.
Yeah, so like I'm on a new offer. I started the beginning of January 5th, so it's pretty much like been a month. The first week, I didn't
Yeah.
really have any calls. The second week of January, I went to Vegas for like a summit in the industry. And so
Yeah.
like really I've been on calls for like 3 weeks. I've taken about 32 calls and I haven't closed any. So it's a new industry for me. I'm learning it. Never been in affiliate marketing or anything like that before. It's like all fucking foreign, but that's not the excuse. Like, how do I get over the hurdle and break the slump?
Yeah. Okay. You're in affiliate marketing, want to break a slump. Again, one of the models that I love to go to is decision making, right? And understanding how clear and certain am I on what's causing people to buy.
Yeah, I think I'm struggling trying to find that because I get a lot of surface bullshit with the business owners coming in because I think like the avatar, right? Like they don't want to admit that there's a problem because they feel like failure.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, what I would be doing is, so one thing that I do, it's because of time, and I don't know who you have to help you on your offer and things, but what I personally like to do is something like this, which is I want to get really, really certain, and I build a map of the what. So this is an example of like what I typically do in discoveries, but it's probably changed since I last edited this, is I really want to know what am I doing outcome wise and my mind flows more like this, right? And then I also know what the decisions are made from. And this is so what you want to do, what I would do in your position is I need to get very clear on what are the decision gates that cause people to buy, right? Which is again normally through consequences and identity. Map that to the conversation in some way. And I start to role play it a lot and figure out also what objections I'm getting. Because you could call it a slump, but it's not, I wouldn't class what you're going through as a slump. It's just you haven't figured out the decision gates for people. A slump
Okay.
would be like you were selling pretty well, and then you went on a down
Okay.
streak or a slump. So that's what I
So
would
put
work on.
myself on. Okay.
So are there other people on the offer? Do you have a manager or like what's the context?
I mean, I got the owner, but there were two people on the offer when I came onto the team, and when I came
Yeah.
on the team, they let them go, and I'm the only sales rep.
Okay. Right. Okay. Did they sell any?
No.
Right. Okay. So that's an interesting one as well. There could be a lot to this, by the way. It could be the offer, it could be the marketing, it could be a ton of different things. So it would require an audit, really, to know,
Mhm.
right? It would really require an audit to look through the offer, the marketing. I would have to put myself in the shoes of the prospect a lot to figure that out. That's
Okay.
basically what you have to do. But it doesn't seem like a good sign if they've already had salespeople and they weren't able to sell. I don't
Yeah,
want to
though.
play. What's that? Sorry.
They were pretty bad. Like
Okay. Yeah.
they were,
Have they sold any before?
the owner has, but the belief and the conviction from him is completely different because it's his business, like so he can
Yeah.
get in there and go all the nooks and crannies. Like I don't know enough in the industry to do that yet, right?
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you need to build a sales map where it becomes very clear as to why people are deciding. And
Okay.
how to do that is you could have to sit there and either put yourself through the prospect shoes a lot and then form an hypothesis, and or you go back and ask the guys who bought from your owner what caused them to buy, like we talked about a bit earlier. Take a note of that data and you build your conversation to those things. You don't have a slump issue, really. You have a certainty issue of what's causing of what are the points of the sale that cause them to decide and buy, which is not uncommon, by the way.
Yeah. I'm gonna book time on your calendar so we can dissect this.
Yeah, we see. Yeah. Like if you want to do that, then like I said, it would be actually working together one-to-one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to do that, then yeah, we can talk. I'll leave that
Okay.
there with you. Cool. I'll go to Ryan or Rayan.
Hey,
How
Shrek.
am I pronouncing it?
Yeah, Rayan. Or
Rayan,
Rayan.
there you go. You look a bit like Yash. Do you know Yash?
We actually had a bit of a back and forth on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. I was actually considering like another opportunity, but I appreciate how.
Yeah. I don't know if you met Yash before.
Yeah, so I'm on an offer now. I'm on a trading offer. I was on one before, but the types of people that I was coming across on that offer were a lot of like construction workers, more emotionally open. Like I could probe them, get a decent consequence. Like their current situation was quite low down.
Yeah.
Whereas on this one, it's a lot more like VPs, directors. They're already doing great. They're going from like good to great, right? So like it's hard for me
Yeah.
to one, probe them emotionally as well. Like every time I ask like a emotional question, I can sense some resistance or like they're kind of like, what's the point of this question? And when I
Yeah.
go down to consequence and I'm like, well, what happens if say we don't get from good to great? Like, what does that look like to you? Oh, it won't be too bad. I'm doing pretty well already. Like it's not that big of a deal. I'll just find another way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time like getting that. And when I get an objection at the end, I don't have much ammunition to kind of push them over the line. It's kind of like, well, shit, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Appreciate the context. What is the offer? So I know you're selling to VPs and directors. What is it that you're selling?
So trading, specifically options trading, we're
Yeah.
able to get people like 10% per month on the capital that they're trading with per month.
Okay, cool. Is it automated or what is it?
It's like we teach you, we coach you, we work with you either one-on-one.
Teaching, coaching. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so the first bit was impact. Basically, they're tied, right? Impact and consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you word your consequence question typically?
Good question. So I kind of have like a frame way of doing it, but I do it differently depending on like what kind of person it is. But it's kind of like
Yeah.
I go from like, okay, if we were able to help you accomplish this goal, like how would things be different for you? Like what would that look like? What would that allow you to do that you can't do now? Given your current skill sets and the process that you have in place now, how close do you feel like to getting there? Not so close, whatever. What happens if that continues or we don't fix this? What does reality look like to you? Or like what happens then? Something along those lines.
Okay. Yeah. And then normally saying, well, things will be, well, I'm doing fine.
Yeah. Like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Or like I'll just find another way to do it. Like it's, yeah, I don't
Okay.
get much depth there.
Yeah. So that means again, how I talked a little bit about earlier is we're not pointing the consequence question in the right
Direction.
points, right direction for them. So I think the points are you're doing good points on how close are you with the skills that you have? Not so much. Okay. And then it's all about, so how did you worded the consequence question like, okay, so what happens if you don't figure this out, right?
Yeah.
Now, with these guys, it's all about like getting them connected and plugged into this future thing for them. And then from there, things are bad, right? So that's where the consequence question has to be. So I'm looking at how do we build the questions? It's going to be more like, okay, so how close are you with your current skill set? I'm not. Okay, so You could even give them the push. You can even give pushback. It's another way to word it.
Okay.
So it might be something like, well, you could just stay being the blah 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 guy, the whatever they
Yeah.
are, 20K a month VP.
Yeah, like why not settle for that or accept that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I learned this one. When you people are ready, it says, why not just stay being the 20K a month guy? Then they'll give you it.
Okay.
Does that make I've used that before. I learned that one when I was at Sniper, actually, when we were
Yeah.
brainstorming a lot of things. That's a really good one. It's like, well, and you talked about you're doing, in some people's eyes, amazingly well. You're doing like, whoa, you're like like you almost like overplay it, because then they'll start downplaying how good they are, right?
Yeah.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
you're doing incredible. So
Yeah.
why not just, I don't know, stay with that?
Stay there. Yeah, I've tried that before, and typically like the response I get is like, well, that's not who I am. And then I go like, what do you mean that's not who you are? How do you mean
Yeah,
by
that's
that?
perfect.
And then they go like, well, I'm always looking to improve. If you can do better, why not, right? Is that enough? Or like, how would you go deeper in that to have?
No, from there, they're telling me identity, because telling me who, right? So I would look to get an identity is the gate. So with these guys, actually, it's not the consequence that's going to sell them. It's going to be the identity.
Okay.
Right. So when you say that's not who you are, who are you looking to be?
Right.
That's actually where I would take your sales process is to find that out, who they're looking to be. And then there has to be some form of like a confession to who they actually have been now.
Okay. And because usually the way I build the consequence is like I kind of build them up and then see like, okay, if you weren't to become that person, what would that look like? Sometimes on the future pace as well, when I say like, hey, how would things be different? Or like, what's the motivation or the drive behind even looking to put in the effort to get this?
What do you get? What types of answers do you get there?
It depends on, like, when I get the high level guys, they're very much like, oh, I just like playing the game. Like, this is just fun to me. It's like a hobby. It's like a passion for me. It's like, there's not much there for me to work from.
Yeah. Well, I would actually have fun with them on that answer. I'd be like, hey, also, is it a hobby of yours to talk to, I don't know, random Asian men online or something like that, right? That I would do. But they're going to be like, well, no, right? I can't imagine you speak to everybody, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that you're really aiming for? Because if it's just more the same, I would say to you, just go keep doing what you're doing. I just start pulling myself out, basically. I start like you use these like takeaway based things, and you have to do it genuinely, because it's actually true, right? It's that, hey, if you just want more of the same, basically there's no point us having this I'm not saying that, but I'm thinking that. Because what I really care about is you getting something different or something that you actually care about. But if you're telling me something surface, then there's nothing that you want different. Then there has to be something that you really want, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or some of them might be like, well, for me, it's a game. I'm really competitive. I really do want to do well with this. And then what you can do there is, this is a bit of a ninja trick, is like, where does that come from?
And then identity frame. Okay, I see.
You can do, because what people are valuing is basically coming from, most of us, when you look deeper, is coming from things in childhood, right? And then getting to that level. I still remember a conversation I had with this it's not the same exact avatar, but with this young kid. It's like, I just really want to be successful. I get that. But like, where's that coming from? Things like this, you have to get to the thing, right? You have to get to something that's different.
Yeah. I find with these kinds of people, I have like certain bullets that I can use in questions, and like the more I probe, I can tell they're getting a bit frustrated. It's like I'm going somewhere where they don't want me to. So I'm also like very hesitant on like,
yeah, what can help you as well, by the way, is having agreement frames, so that if they're getting pissed off on the question, they actually understand why it's to their benefit to our answer. So especially in future pacing, I found it can really help to have like a type of story. I used to use one quite often on Jeremy's offer. It used to sound something like this. And it's interesting that we've been talking about this, because we're talking about this with Jeremy internally, how there's one thing going for a number, right? But that number is always, or a monetary amount, but money's really just a tool for you to be able to do what you want in life, right? Right. What's that for you? Because this is a big part of you getting to that level. And then once they agree to that frame, they then have to tell me the thing. So it can help you is to create an agreement frame, which is short. You could even do it like, hey, we speak to some, what you want to go achieve. We've got a lot of traders doing that, but even guys doing way more than that. And when we speak to them, they're really clear on like what it is for them, right? Because after a while, money's just numbers in the bank account. Are you with me on that? Yeah. So what is it really about achieving that level for you? Because that's a big part of actually achieving this. Then they're going to tell you, because now what you've done is you attach to, in their brain, what they've done. Can you see what we've done? Is that I have to answer this question so that I can go achieve what I want.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've used like the Usain Bolt one for that one, where it's like him.
That's a similar concept, isn't it? Right? It's a similar concept on aspirational identity and things. So yeah, it can help a lot to these people because what they're doing, they know what the question is. They just don't want to answer it because they feel like you're going to use it against them. They're more
Yeah.
like seasoned, for want of a better term.
Yeah, because I always, especially when I'm going down the fair route and like they're closing in on them and they're like, I know what you're trying to do, dude. Like, I know you're trying to close the deal. And it's like, fuck stuff. It's like, what do I do here? But
Yeah, that's why identity, these guys, it's not the consequence that's going to get them. It's going to be the identity of who they want to be. And
yeah,
you need to have a nice sequence that doesn't piss them off, that gets out that identity.
sweet. Thanks, Shrug.
Yeah, have a play around with that, right? I've got some things as well that I do, but I'll go to Jordan. And apologies, Sam. I will come to you if I can. Go for it, Jordan.
Samantha, you want to go?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd love to go.
Yeah, Sam, let's go for it. Let's go for a
Sure.
money role play, right? It's getting dark in
Okay.
here. You guys aren't gonna be able to see me. It's raining and stuff here, but let's go for it. You want to
Yeah.
you want to do like Matt's offer here, the sales coaching type thing, right?
Yeah, I'm flirting with the idea of it, but overall, I just want to get better
Let's
at my objection
cool. Let's
handling
flirt with
my
it and
process.
let's practice with me. Just go through it. I'll give you, and in fact, you have to drop something before going into the offer, and then I'll give you an objection, the money objection. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, with everything that we've gone over, it's very, very reasonable. It's just a subscription amount of $149 every month. But does that sound like a good next step, or how do you want to proceed?
Pause. I'll give you, when you ask for the offer, it does actually make a difference going into the objection, right?
Okay, so, sorry, how do you mean?
So when you're asking for the close, right, it does actually make a difference as to what objection you're going to get. So when you use language like, hey, I guess, does that make sense? Or however you said it, right? I guess, does that make sense? Or what did you say?
Oh, I just said, so with everything we've gone over, it'd be, this amount every month. Does that sound like a good next step, or how do you want to proceed?
Okay, yeah, you said I guess in there, which sounded a bit less certain. I'm just nitpicking here, right? It might seem like I'm
Sure.
nitpicking, but honestly, when you can ask for the close in a way that's very like, hey, certain, this is what it is, and it's removed of any nerves or anything as well, it makes a big difference.
Okay.
Small
So
thing though.
how would you relanguage that?
I think it's more like the intention that you had behind it. So how I would do it is, hey, so really it's $149 only as we talked about a month. And then I would say, okay, the next step would be we take the payment. I might say something like that, right? Next step would be we take the payment. How do you want to proceed?
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna pretty much verbatim just say what you
Yeah,
said.
I mean, to do that, it's more about the energy than just the words, right?
Sure.
Let's assume you've done that. Actually, do it once more, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so with everything we've gone over, it's only $149 a month. And yeah, just at this point, what we would do is we'd make the account for you, we'd get you signed up. Does that sound like a good next step, or where do you want to go from here?
See, for me, that's kind of casual. Whereas what I want to be
Okay.
like, hey, so I'm more like dictating the steps, but I leave you the choice. So the next step from here is we would do the payment for the 149. That way you can actually come in and do the training. How do you want to proceed?
Okay.
I
So it's
don't want to
more
make the next step be
okay.
casual. I want to make the next step be certain. This is what you need to do, right? It's like,
Okay.
hey, this is what you need to do, but how do you want to proceed? Are you with me on that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and at this point, the payment's only $149 a month for the coaching and everything we've gone over. And we'd get
Yeah.
you signed up and we'd collect payment and get you started. And then how do you want to
How,
proceed?
how do you want to proceed? Yeah, perfect. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
almost like, hey, this is the next step. This is what you need to do, though I leave the choice to you, right? That's how I
Yeah.
do it,
It's
right?
almost just ingrained in my head from like just asking it that way, like over and over so many times. So it's like it's a little
Do you
uncomfortable,
understand why?
like out of
Do you understand why I'm doing that though? Because
yeah,
if I'm quite
definitely.
casual, oh, the next step's kind of this, then I allow them to be kind of casual with, oh, do you really want to do it? Right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'd be shocked if I think it's going to be more uncertainty behind whether they think it's going to work for them as opposed to the money, because really it's like not a lot of
No,
money
no,
at
no.
all.
It's more about the step because I've had it happen. I've been the prospect to this before where I'm in Europe and people don't really try and hard close you so much here, right? But there's
Okay.
instances where I've been like, well, you should have just dictated the steps for me. Just tell me the next
Yeah.
steps and I would have just done them. But other time, and I normally I help them out a bit, but sometimes I like, oh, should I do it now? Maybe I should do it later. Do you know what I mean? But if they just told me like, hey, the next step is this, how do you want to proceed?
Hmm.
Then I would have just done
Okay.
that thing. But
Okay.
if I'm kind of casual, like, oh, the next step's kind of this, how do you want to proceed? Then I might start to be casual in what the next
Cool.
step
Can I
is.
try one more time? Can I just like try to like
Yeah, let's go for
smash
it.
through
We're
it?
overplaying it, but let's get into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we could just kind of, maybe see what else I've got as far
Yeah,
as like how I
yeah,
would
we've got
handle
5 minutes,
it.
so let's go for it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so with everything we've gone over, it's $149 a month. What we do from here is we get you signed up and get you started. Does that sound like a good next step, or how do you want to proceed?
Yeah, much better, in my opinion, much better. Yeah, sounds good. I will need to have a little think on it and then I can get back to you.
Cool. And, usually what I've seen, right, because I've been doing this for a while, is it takes more information to come to a decision about something, not necessarily more time, just to see if I can help. Like, I guess, what are you maybe wanting to go over in your mind?
I think that's fine. I think it's saying some like Hormozy lines, which is fine. I don't mind it. I don't think it needs to be quite as long.
Okay.
It's like, hey, that's not a problem. You can do the hey, that's not a problem, pause, whatever, and then ask your question. What's just coming up for you, or what do you feel you need to think over, or however you want to word that. I don't mind doing it that way, right? And then I often like to put a cursory explainer to that, which is like, hey, that's not a problem. When you say think, genuinely, you're like, what are your thoughts? Because if I can help, I'll see if I can. If I can't, zero issue. I like doing it that way because I like to completely detach by doing that because I want them to tell me the truth.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so try that. I don't know if you're going to remember every word correctly, of course, right? But I'll go
But
back and
is
say
there
the
going to
same.
be a recording of this, like that I could
There
maybe
is going to
play
be a
back
recording.
to?
Yeah, there will be a recording.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, I'll say the same thing. So yeah, I think I just need to have a little think over this, but I can get back to you.
okay. And when you say think about it, I guess maybe what are your thoughts, right? Because if I can help, I'd, happy to. If not, we could kind of leave it as is. But I guess what are actually like your thoughts on what we went over?
Yeah, not bad. We'll continue with it. I know it seems good. I've just done a lot of sales training, and I know Matt's content is really, really good. It's just like whether like putting that $150 to this is really going to get me what I really, really need right now in my career.
Okay. So if let's just say I gave you a duffel bag, just not that I think you'd need a duffel bag really to fit $150, but if I just
Yeah.
gave you a small stack of $150, would you put it towards this or would you, play it at the casino?
Well, I guess like I said, I do like Matt's stuff. It's just, in fact, I've changed this into a different objection, but it's fine. It's a type of money objection. Again, here again, I'm nitpicking quite a lot, right? I'm not a massive fan of this frame loads, particularly in this context. I wouldn't use it. I think you can just simplify it and just be like, hey, money aside here, what would you
I
do?
just, I just don't want to say money aside. Money aside automatically, like for me, and just
Yeah.
like it's very Jordan Belford, it's very like salesperson, even though they know I'm a salesperson. I
Yeah.
just don't want to come off that way for obvious reasons.
Yeah, okay, then I would find a different phrasing which says the same thing, but you don't need as many words. I don't really
Yeah,
love the
so if I just
frame
like,
of
so if I just handed you, maybe if I just handed you the money, like would you put it towards this and actually
there we
improving
go.
your sales skills so that you
Yeah.
could XYZ, or would you go out and maybe, get started on some early Christmas shopping?
Well, it's quite early to be doing it. Yeah.
Super early, very early Christmas shopping.
Very, very early. No, I think I would probably do it. Yeah.
Okay, why though?
I like Matt. He's a funny guy. I like his stuff. Seems like he knows his stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he can be funny, right? But, a couple of other people are funny. Do you feel like with everything we've gone over and what I showed you today would actually help you improve your skills so you could,
I would hope so.
XYZ?
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I really so does that sound like a good next step, or should we go from here?
Yeah, pause there. Only because of time. I've got to jump to a client call in a second. Is that last bit of
Um,
language, that last bit of language, what could you pick up on?
yeah, I would
What do you
hope
think? What do you think
so.
the underlying objection is based on what I've said?
Yeah, uncertainty around whether it's actually going to work for you, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is right, something because it's not an unreasonable amount of money. If they actually think it's going to work for them, it's definitely more uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I might want to, how would you segue into that?
I would pick up on the word hope at the end, right?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah,
or
I
pick,
would
or
hope
pick,
so. Right, that's
yeah,
like
just
hoping.
pick on that language. Just be like, hey,
Sure.
when you say hope so, what's behind that, right? Something like that's
Right.
what I would say. When you say hope so, what's behind that? And
Love
then I
that.
would probably say something like, I invest in lots of sales training before, and I know it's just another course and lots of group coaching, tons of people in the sessions,
Mhm.
and I will start to tell you more on it, and then you start to get an idea of what the real objection is.
Yeah.
That helps a
Yeah, no,
lot,
I,
by the
I
way, is
like that.
getting
And
really,
then
really clear on the objection and picking on their language.
yeah, no, and that makes sense, right? Because we make decisions
I've got
based
to
off of
pause
our
here. Sorry, I've got to
perspective,
pause. I've got
right?
to
And
jump.
then
I've got to jump to a
yeah,
meeting now.
no worries.
But
But
good
thank you so
job. We
much.
can do
Really
some
helpful.
more next time. All right, guys, take care. See you soon. Bye.
Cheers.